its identity, you name it, but in a way you kill it in the sense that you extract that. Now, of course, now we come to the logic of desire. This is why Lacan links the so-called master signifier, what he calls S1, to the series of what he calls knowledge ordinary signifier, and this is why he links the master signifier to what he calls the object small a, this surplus enjoyment, however we call it, which is precisely the name for that mysterious X, which is of course a mythic property which makes you what you are. How does this function? Allow me to repeat some old analysis of mine to make this clear. Lacan has a wonderful definition of a master signifier somewhere where he says something very precise. He says that the master signifier is the point where the signifier falls into the signified. Vaguely. It's not meaning, sense. I know they're not the same. I know all the stuff about Sinnbedeutung and so on. But what can this mysterious statement mean? It means that in a reflexive way, the name must, as it were, encounter itself in the designated object. It's constitutive of its identity. And that impossible objective feature, which would be the counterpart of a name, is the object small a. For example, even, let me put it in extremely naive terms, but which are appropriate here. Sorry, my God, I'm so impossible. I always have some kind of obscene, erotic stuff, but don't be afraid, I will not rape any of you. It's probably simply because I'm really getting old and diabetic, and when you no longer do it, you talk about it. But let's say I'm in love with one of you.
That's not true. You talked about it more when you were doing it.
Sorry? I know what you are saying. As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, okay, you provoked me, it's your fault, let me go to the end. I couldn't stand people, okay, in my case, I'm not gay, women who want to talk, this, darling, say something, blah, blah, blah. No. When you fuck, you fuck. When you talk, you talk. I hate this idea of whispering some. Making love is hard work for me. I have this attitude. It's not bullshitting. You do your work. None of that, oh darling, whatever, fuck it. And, but do you know that this is your choice? You provoked me, it's all his fault. I'm pure here, he provoked me. That, even it would be nice to build a semiotic square, kind of out of... Unfortunately, it's done only for women. I don't think this is just. It should have been done only for men, but it's a wonderful analysis. A friend of mine, Dean McCannell, I know him because he is the husband of Juliet Flower McCannell, that San Francisco Lacanian lady. And he is also specialized in, he was the first, as it were, deconstructionist theorist of tourism. And a part of this, he's slightly weird guy, he did a very serious analysis with all the data of the expression on women's faces while they are screwed, while they are doing it in hardcore pornography. He wasn't interested in the dirty things, what goes on down, but and he discovered something very precise that, as we all know, that it has nothing to do with any spontaneity. It's strictly codified. And then, I don't know the terms, he even told me that he contacted some guys who were involved in the hardcore industry, and they told me they even have technical terms for it. So there are 4 expressions codified. One is, I cannot do it. One is this simple, this, how should we call it, ecstatic trance, whatever. This is, of course, the least interesting. Then, the second one is ignorance. Some people find it charming when the woman, fuck it doesn't concern me. Like even one of the codified things is even that the woman is chewing a gum or whatever, just yawning, boring, like, I ignore it. This ignorance, she is a baba. And there is something unique. A fatal woman has to pretend to be born ignorant, which is why, if some of you know Russian, it's a wonderful irony. All Russian friends of mine know about it. You know, we opera lovers, every generation we are lucky to encounter a lady, singer, soprano, who, my God, again my male chauvinism, who is not this kind of a big fat lady where your worry is, will she manage to make the next step, and you are all the time in anxiety in the opera, who is relatively beautiful, no? And, okay, every generation there is one or two. When I was very young, in the 60s, it was an Italian star called Anna Moffo. And it's all your fault. No, you provoked me. Now I will tell you a wonderful detail. I gave a talk at München Opera, and got hold of some old stage manager who knew her. And I heard a rumor about Anna Moffo. This is for me Lacanian ethics of desire. And he told me it's true. You know what was the rumor about her? Her career stopped relatively early in mid-40s. Now, I warn you, you can persecute me for harassment, this is hard. The idea is that she was extremely sexualized, acting in orgies all the time. And her specialty was to do fellatio on a series of men the same evening, swallowing everything. So then she detected troubles with her voice. She went to the doctor, and the doctor told her, you have to make a choice. Either you continue your singing career or orgies. No problem, she said. Orgies. That's ethics. That's ethics. Okay, but let's go on. Now, more serious. The most beautiful considered today, one of these is the Russian, the dark one, Anna Netrebko. Now, it's a wonderful irony if you know a little bit Russian. Netrebko means she doesn't need it. Trebat is even, for example, in our Balkan territory, at least means we have potrebna kod Sahara vode, which means she needs it like Sahara needs water. This is the extremely male chauvinist, vulgar. So it's a wonderful way, the fatal beauty, but to have it in the name inscribed, fuck off, I don't need you, and so on, no? So again, that's the second position. The third position, and there is what I would have called in Habermasian terms instrumental activity. This, you know, this usually the lips clench like, my God, it's hard work, let's do it. Then there is the fourth position, which is almost the best for me, for turning me on, this kind of a dismissive, ironic smile. The woman looks you into the eye and smiles. Is this all you can do? You know, this kind of. And the wonder. And again, I spoke with the guys, and I even once wanted to construct a kind of a Habermasian logic of three types: instrumental, reason, and so on. The whole logic of communication out of this, and so on. But it really works, and the lesson is much deeper than you think. My good friend Robert Faller, who did the notion of interpassivity, an Austrian guy, it said that you cannot read, if you can German, do it. He now published it as a book. He did a wonderful book called Illusion of the Others, Illusionen der Anderen. The book, I tried to push it now to be published into English. It did very well in German by Surkamp Verlag. The problem is that in art circles, because he's most an art theorist, I don't know if you know it, I thought that we philosophers are the worst. But I discovered that art theorists are even worse. That there is such competition, you belong to one clan, envy, and so on. So it was always sabotaged by others, and so on. So, okay, he has a very nice idea that the things that we do as a transgression, sex, you get drunk, you swear, and so on, it's not that out of custom you behave properly, but then when you can no longer control yourself, you explode. That they are basically that it's strictly codified, and that you do it to belong to a group, it's always an acquired taste. For example, drinking. It can be demonstrated. He told me he spoke with some doctors that, I'm not only a woman, as I said yesterday, I